Breaking news, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. That's the little lesson in this breaking story for Donald Trump and today, JD Vance. Oh my goodness, you got to understand, in my entire lifetime, I have never actually seen the level of retribution to this administration as we are seeing in less than 90 days. I've even seen world leaders welcome leaders from the U.S. in times of the Cold War and strained relationships, much less a country from NATO. And in this breaking story, you will not believe what Greenland just did. But let me show you, before we get there, here's the lovely fun part that led up to this breaking story, is how it seemed just a couple of days ago for Usha and JD Vance. Take a look at this.
Vice President JD Vance joining a ever more high-profile trip to Greenland as President Trump says the U.S. should take that territory away from Denmark, who happens to be a NATO ally of ours. Vance says he wants to go on what was meant to be initially a trip for his wife Usha, one of their children, and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Ed O'Keefe joins us again from the White House. Ed, this is really a talker. Why the change of plans?
Well, Tony, the vice president says it's all about global security. He made the announcement in an online video saying he would travel to a U.S. military base on Greenland's northwest coast. Earlier this week, it was announced that his wife, the Second Lady, Usha Vance, and one of their 3 children plan to visit historic sites and attend a dog sled race. Greenland's outgoing prime minister called those plans and a potential visit by other U.S. officials, quote, highly aggressive. Now, the vice president says there was so much excitement surrounding his wife's trip, he didn't want her to have all that fun by herself. The trip makes him the highest-ranking American official to visit since President Trump suggested he wants to bring Greenland, a self-governing territory of Denmark, under U.S. control. In his video message, Vance said leaders in the U.S. and Denmark have, quote, ignored Greenland for far too long and said it's bad for the security of the world. The vice president's visit scheduled for Friday, and by refocusing the trip, we'll see if it does anything to tamp down the controversy.
Oh yes, my goodness, just like going to Hawaii. The entire country had all the lays out and the fire torches, and they were ready to throw a big old tiki Greenland. Never mind, we changed our mind. And in this breaking story, look at what the Tourism Department of Greenland just told JD Vance.
A Greenlandic tourism business has said it changed its mind about welcoming the vice president's wife, Usha Vance, to their store. Tupilak Travel wrote on Facebook that it had informed the U.S. consulate that it did not want Vance to visit because of the underlying agenda. The post ended with a phrase meaning Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders. Manager Henrik Skitsbjerg told Newsweek the decision was made because we were afraid that it would turn out to be a MAGA event, which we did not want to be part of. Newsweek has contacted the U.S. consulate in Greenland and the Vice President's office for comment via email. Why it matters. President Donald Trump has repeatedly suggested that the U.S. should control Greenland, a self-governing territory of Denmark. He told Congress earlier this month that it would happen one way or another because it would be good for national security. However, polls conducted this year have shown that an overwhelming majority of Greenlanders do not support Trump's plan. In a poll conducted between January 22nd and January 26th for Danish newspaper Berlingske and Greenlandic newspaper Sermitsiagt, 85% of respondents said they did not support joining the U.S. The Second Lady's trip has also drawn sharp criticism from the governments of Greenland and Denmark. Mette Frederiksen, Denmark's prime minister, told Danish channel TV2 on Tuesday, I have to say that it is unacceptable pressure being placed on Greenland and Denmark in this situation, and it is pressure that we will resist. Vice President JD Vance announced later on Tuesday that he would be joining the visit to Greenland. There was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself, and so I'm going to join her, he said in a video post on X, formerly Twitter. What to know, Tupilak Travel said that the U.S. consulate had called on Monday to ask if Usha Vance could visit their store on Friday. When the U.S. consulate called yesterday and asked if the wife of the American vice president, Usha Vance, could visit our store on Friday, we replied that she would be welcome. Everyone is welcome in the store, the company wrote in a post on Facebook on Tuesday. But it added, after further consideration, however, we have now informed the consulate that we do not want her to visit, as we cannot accept the underlying agenda and do not want to be part of the press show that will certainly follow. But on Tuesday, the White House said the vice president and his wife would only travel to the Patuxent Space Base on the northwest coast of Greenland to receive a briefing on Arctic security issues and meet with U.S. service members. Previous reports also stated that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Energy Secretary Chris Wright would take part in the trip, but Tuesday's statement made no mention of them. What people are saying. Henrik Skeidsbjerg, the manager of Tupelak Travel, told Newsweek, "We are known for our hospitality, and we welcome visitors from other countries as our valued guests. With this delegation, however, we were afraid that it would turn out to be a MAGA event, which we did not want to be part of." Vice President JD Vance said in a video posted on X on Tuesday, "A lot of other countries have threatened Greenland, have threatened to use its territories and its waterways to threaten the United States, to threaten Canada, and, of course, to threaten the people of Greenland. We want to reinvigorate the security of the people of Greenland because we think it's important to protecting the security of the entire world," the White House said in a statement. The strategic partnership between the United States and Greenland has long played a vital role in our national and economic security. During World War II, the United States established over a dozen military bases in Greenland to defend the North Atlantic from Nazi incursion. In the decades since, neglect and inaction from Danish leaders and past U.S. administrations have presented our adversaries with the opportunity to advance their own priorities in Greenland and the Arctic. President Trump is rightly changing course. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen told broadcaster DR, "I think it's very positive that the Americans canceled their visit to the Greenlandic Society. Instead, they will visit their own base, Patuxent, and we have nothing against that." The government of Greenland said in a Facebook post on Monday that it has not extended any invitations for any visits, neither private nor official. Greenland's outgoing Prime Minister Mute Egede told Sermitsiaq newspaper on Sunday that if the territory's allies do not speak out loudly about how the USA is treating Greenland, the situation will escalate day by day and the American aggression will increase.
There's really not a lot else I can say because you reap what you sow, baby. And when you sow the kind of lies and discord that's coming out of this flippin' White House, you know what's really sad for me? What's sad for me is the wife and the kid wind up being the victims of daddy's BS and his bestie, Donnie Trump. That's what's really sad. They don't get to go enjoy themselves in a country like Greenland, regardless of politics. They just get the whole damn thing canceled because your dad is considered a flippin' prick by that entire country, much less the boy he hangs out with in the White House. Whew! I do not believe this will be the last time a NATO country tells JD and Donnie T to F off. You guys stay frosty.